I hear rustling next to me, like the feeling of like a body next to me. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be the highly requested paranormal story time. Now, because it is October, you guys have been hounding me like, Dakota, do you have any ghost stories? Do you have any paranormal stories? And I just so happened to have one that happened when I literally saw my brother's spirit across the room on vacation, and shit got crazy. So if you are interested in hearing that story, all you have to do is sit back, relax, get your wine, get your snacks, get your popcorn, turn on your post notifications, give this video a like, subscribe, and let's get on into it. Now, since we last kicked, by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky. Now, I wanted to do my own acrylics because I was bored the other day, and it turned out great. Like, from here it looks pretty good, but I didn't have time to do this hand, so we're gonna ignore that. We're not gonna comment, we're not gonna say anything, because no shit, Sherlock, I have one hand that's done, the other that's not. What about it? I'm going to be drinking a medicine ball tea from Starbucks because your girl's sick, okay? If you can't tell by my by my tone of voice, I'm sick. Aubrey gave me her cold. That's just what kids do. But no, this is called a medicine ball tea, but if you order it, you can't say that. You have to call it a honey citrus mint tea, and it's only like $4 from Starbucks. Definitely go get one. Also, my sweatshirt, can we talk about it? I've been getting so many compliments on this sweatshirt. So it says it's just a bunch of hocus pocus, and here like the 3 witches, and then, you know, you got the bats here. It is so cute. Amazon, and if you have Amazon Prime, it comes in a day. So, all right, let's get into it. This story is going to take place when I was a lot younger, and it's going to take place around the summertime. Now, every summer growing up, before my parents were divorced, we used to go on vacation like pretty habitually, and then when they divorced, we didn't really go at all because there was just too much going on. But we used to go to either like North Carolina or South Carolina every year. So this year was no different. We were, you know, packed up, ready to go. And unfortunately, my dad was not going to be coming with us. And this is, context matters, okay? There's context in this, so just there's a reason why I'm mentioning that, okay? My parents were gonna get a divorce, and then they decided they weren't gonna get a divorce. It was just something they did like really, really often. Like, they would decide they were gonna get divorced, they would talk to us about it, and then like a week later they would decide they were like gonna stay together. And this was like a constant reoccurring cycle for some time before they just decided to like finally call it quits and get a divorce. Because they were going to get a divorce, my mom did not get my dad a ticket. Instead, she invited my cousin Tiffany to come with us, and my grandma, before, you know, she passed away. She was obviously like still alive, so my mom had invited them to come with us instead of my dad, because they obviously, if they were planning on getting divorced, you're not gonna go on vacation with your soon-to-be ex-husband. It's just weird. So my dad was not going to come, and then they decided they were gonna stay together. But unfortunately, my mom had already told my cousin, and she had already told my grandma that they could come with us. So she wasn't about to be like, sorry, no, like, I'm back with my mans, so you guys can't come. So it was pretty good anyway, because what's going on with my hair? My hair should be a paranormal story time, because what the fuck is this? I believe this year we flew. Sometimes we would fly and sometimes we would drive. So this year I believe that we flew, especially because we were gonna be with my grandma. My grandma was like obviously very old at the time, so we didn't want to like drive with her because, like, you know, like she would get hot or something. Like, I don't know. What is wrong with me? So we decided to fly instead, okay? It was gonna be me, my mom, my brother, my grandma, and my cousin Tiffany. So we fly, we get to our hotel, everything's good, okay? Right away, I could just tell that this hotel specifically had like a very eerie feeling to it. Now, from a young age, I've always been able to like sense energy. And I wouldn't say that I have a huge connection with like the other side, but I could feel them, right? I can't see them, I can't really hear them, but I could like feel them. Like, I could feel when there's like a spirit around me. By the way, if you don't believe in this shit, please do not comment and tell me to seek God. God is my Lord and Savior. I pray to him every single day. I love God, I believe in God, but I also believe in ghosts, I believe in spirits, I believe in paranormal shit. I use crystals. I use sage. I am Native American, bitch. Sage is a part of my culture. I meditate. Like, I do all that stuff. So if you don't like that, that's fine. But like, keep your comments to yourself because I really don't care. Anyway, so sorry, I'm just getting so sick. Everyone's like, Dakota, you need to seek God. That stuff is not good for you and it attracts demons. Like, I'm literally Native. I am Native. It is in my culture to use sage. If anything, I'm the person that's supposed to be using sage. It is literally in my culture. It's literally in my culture. Like, that is so offensive when people say that. I'm like, literally, shut up. Like, I know I look like Casper's sister, but I'm Native. Right away, I could tell this hotel had like a very eerie feeling to it. I'm just gonna kind of describe the way that this hotel looks. So outside of the hotel, you know, you have like your pool, you have like your little walkway, and then you have like the beach right there, right? Now this hotel, it was very dark. Like, the outside was dark, the lobby was dark, like everything was dark, and it had like a very dark, eerie, like dark cloud feeling to it, right? So that's number one. Number two, when you walked into the hotel room, it just had a very like, I don't know, like funeral home type vibe to it. Like, there was a lot of like red curtains. There was like this weird wallpaper that literally looked like it was from like the 1920s. Like, it was so just like very outdated, very old, but like eerie at the same time, you know what I mean? So very weird wallpaper, like these dark red, like musty curtains. The carpet was like a very, very dark red as well. And there was just a very like weird feeling to it. I can't really explain it. Just, you walked in and you could tell like, it felt like somebody died in there. I'm being 100% honest. It felt like someone died in there. And it wasn't like it was like a rusty like motel or like one of those like, you know, hotels that you go to just to sleep in because it's on your way home and you know, you're having a long night, you don't want to drive home. Like, it was marketed as like a nice hotel, and every time that we had gone to North or South Carolina, we had always stayed in pretty nice hotels. So I don't know what happened this time around, because I know that my mom booked like a hotel that was like gonna accommodate all of us, but for some reason this one just had like a very like feeling to it. So basically what happens is we're all having a good time. The first night we go there, we order food, we eat, we have some time to like go to the pool, go to the beach and things like that. And when we went on vacation, what my mom would always do is she would plan like an itinerary, which is why I'm so type A, it's ridiculous. Like, if we go somewhere, like I will have an itinerary with timestamps next to it of locations we are going, things that we are doing, food we are eating. Otherwise, I feel like my vacation is just like wasted. I don't like just winging it. So my mom was no different. So whenever we would go there, like one day we would be like a beach day, another day we would like drive and, you know, we'd rent a car and drive down to the local shops and we would like purchase things, or we would go sightseeing, or they had like Dixie Stampede and Medieval Times. Oh my God, bitch, if you've never been to Medieval Times or Dixie Stampede, it is like, I can't even explain what it is. Hold on, wait, let me just look it up and just like oh my God, it closed in 2008. I wonder if it's still in Tennessee. Alright, so I'm just going to read you guys the Google definition, but basically Dolly Parton created it, and Dixie Stampede is a tourist attraction. It's a dinner show enjoyed by thousands of people every year. So it's literally like a show. Like, you go and you sit in these seats and there's this huge like arena in front of you, and it's like a huge show they put on. They have like horse races, they have like little skits that they do. They'll serve you food. You have to like eat with your hands because you're supposed to be like in the country. And they have Medieval Times as well, which is kind of the same thing. It's like this huge arena where you sit down and you watch this huge like medieval show in front of you, and you eat and you drink, and it's so much fun. And then afterwards you go out into the lobby and there's like so many things to buy. Like at Dixie Stampede there used to be these like huge boots, like literally like twice the size of this cup, that they would fill. Like, me and my brother used to get like slushies. My mom probably got like wine or something, slushies, and it was like this huge boot that you got to take home. It freaking lit up. It was so cool. We had like an itinerary basically for every single day, and on the last day we were going to do Medieval Times. Again, there's context to that. So we were having fun, you know, we were out. I was of course spending all of my money at once. My grandma was screaming at me, telling me that I needed to learn how to manage my money better, and that we were gonna go shopping one day and I should save. And I was like, we're going shopping right now though. I miss my grandma so much. She was the best. But having a great time. My cousin Tiffany, it was like her first time being in, I think we were in South Carolina, I don't remember, in South Carolina. So she was just having a grand old time. We're having so much fun together. Now, the way that the hotel was set up was there was 3 beds. There was 2 beds in this little room with like these sliding doors, and then if you open the sliding doors, you walked in and it was direct access to the living room that had a pull-out couch. So for the longest time, my mom and my brother was sleeping on the pull-out couch that was in the living room, and then my cousin Tiffany and my grandma were sleeping in one bed, and me, because I'm just a princess, had a bed all to myself. So it was like this for like literally like 4 days, and we were staying for 5. And on the last day, my mom was like, my back is absolutely killing me. I am not sleeping on this pull-out couch bed anymore. And the reason why I wasn't staying on there with my brothers, because me and my brother did not get along. Like me and my brother, I have 3 brothers, by the way. I don't ever talk about them on here, but I have 3. Me and my brother did not get along. We did not like each other. I honestly look back at my childhood and I can't think of one moment where we ever got along. Like, I honestly cannot sit here and tell you like, oh, me and my brother had good times, or we hated each other. We never got along. Like, when I see people, I love, like, okay, like my other 2 brothers, like we don't really stay in like contact too much, but I love them, of course, nonetheless. I'm really only close with like my brother Kevin, and I love my brother Jay as well. Like, I love my brothers, like, don't get me wrong, like my 2 brothers, like I love them like so much, but we just, you know, it's life and it's busy, whatever. And they're also like my half siblings too. So when I hear about people talking about their siblings and how like close of a relationship they had, I don't know what that's like. I have no idea, because like I was never close to my brother. We quite literally wanted to kill each other 24/7. Like, we didn't even really have like babysitters like watch us growing up, because we did not get along at all. We had to have my grandma watch us because she was the only one that could like keep us apart, like all that, right? So we couldn't stand each other at all, and so that's why I did not sleep on the pull-out couch bed with my brother, because we literally would have killed each other, and we wanted to have like a good, nice, relaxing vacation, and, you know, with nobody fighting. So my mom would sleep out there with him every night, but there was one night where she was like, my back is absolutely killing me. We have a long flight home, you know, the next day. Like, I need you for this one night. I need you guys to not kill each other. I need you guys to sleep on this pull-out mattress in the living room, and I'm gonna sleep where, you know, your bed is. So of course I was so pissed off, because I'm like, I don't want to sleep with my brother. I can't stand him. Like, this is so annoying, whatever. But I was happy because we were gonna go to Medieval Times that night, so I didn't really care. Like, I was mad, but I was like, whatever. It's the last night. Let's make the most out of it. Like, it's gonna be so much fun. So we go to Medieval Times. It is literally such a fun time. Like, I'm telling you guys, you have to look it up. I'm also gonna put pictures here, but it's literally so much fun. They just have like this huge show, and everybody is like dressed like they're at like a Renaissance fair, and they have horses, and they're all running, and they're jousting, and you're getting this like big ass like rotisserie chicken in front of you. Like, it is literally so good. I remember my grandma, because she's like, my grandma was highly allergic to everything: strawberries, nuts, chicken, everything. My grandma was allergic to everything, and so somebody went to go ask if she wanted chicken, because what they did is they had it in these big ass buckets, and they would come around and they would just like serve you, and before they could even ask her, she had like her arms out like this, and she was like, no chicken. And my mom was like, Mom, because it's my mom's mom, she's like, Mom, you could just say no thank you. You don't have to scream like that. Like, literally, it was like, she was causing a ruckus. She's like, no, I can't even have it on my plate. I am highly allergic. Like, she was freaking out. So we wrap up Medieval Times, and we have such a good time, and then we head home. You know, we all get in the shower, we say our good nights, and we go to bed. Now, remember I told you guys, my dad was not coming on this vacation. When I was younger, me and my dad were like attached at the hip before like him and my mom got through, you know, their divorce, and he, you know, was losing his addiction with like alcohol and stuff, and I didn't really see him for that long of a time. Like, before he was kind of like out of my life in that situation, we had like a really fucking close relationship, and I loved my dad. My dad was like literally my best friend. He was my everything. I was like obsessed with him. And it's funny now, because Aubrey is just like that with my dad now. Like, she loves my dad. Like, she's obsessed with him. That's like her world, her everything. So I brought this picture, and I still have it to this day, and it's a picture of me and my dad, and we're at the beach, and there's this little frame around it, and it's like this like fisherman's frame. It's like a little frame that has like on the frame there's like a hat, and there's like a fisher like a fishing pole, and there's a little fish above, and there's a little like bucket with like fish bait and stuff in it. It's so freaking cute, right? So I took that picture with me for vacation, because I knew that I was gonna miss my dad so much. So that night I took it with me to the living room, and me and my brother were, you know, gonna sleep on this pull-out mattress, and then there was this little side table. So the bed was like this, and there was a side table right here, and it was a glass side table, a glass like circle side table, and I had put the picture on it. And so I remember like growing up, it took me so long to go to sleep. Still to this day, it takes me about an hour to 2 hours to actually fall asleep. Now my brother, on the other hand, all he has to do is lay his head down and that man is knocked the fuck out. So he had already basically fallen asleep. So I'm sitting there, I'm like trying to fall asleep and I just can't. And I'm tossing and I'm turning and I just get this like weird feeling that something is watching me. Like, you know when you're sleeping sometimes and you just feel like something or someone is watching you and you don't even want to like turn your head and look because you're afraid there's going to be like a figure standing over your bed or something, or somebody in your house, or just something bad is going to happen, right? That's exactly how I was feeling. All right, can you, like, that's enough. That's excessive. Thank you. So I just felt like something or someone was watching me, okay? So I'm like tossing and turning, I can't go to sleep, and then finally I turn to like my left, right, which is this side. So this is me, I'm laying down, I'm trying to go to sleep, I can't freaking go to sleep, my brother's already knocked out, and all of a sudden I open my eyes, and you guys, I kid you the fuck not, my brother is sitting on the glass side table. And at first I think I'm dreaming because I'm like, what the like, what is going on? Like, why is my brother over there? But then I realize I'm not asleep, I haven't slept yet. So I just like immediately closed my eyes backed up and then I opened them again and he was literally sitting right there and he was looking at me, and you guys, he was fucking smiling. He was sitting on the table smiling. And so I say out loud, I'm like, Dylan, what are you doing? Like, why are you sitting there, right? And I hear rustling next to me, like the feeling of like a body next to me. And I look over and my brother is still sleeping next to me. So not only is he sleeping next to me, but he is also sitting on the side table. And you guys, I am fucking terrified. To this day, I am a scary ass bitch, okay? I do not like being scared. Like I like paranormal stuff and like shit like that, don't get me wrong. But I think the reason why I cannot like see spirits but I can feel them is because they know that I am scared fucking shitless. Like I literally, oh my god, no, I cannot do it. I can't do it. That's just one thing I can never do. So I am so fucking scared. And so I'm trying to close my eyes. I'm trying to tell me like, just go to sleep, just go to sleep, just go to sleep. But like obviously as a kid, like you're curious, you know? So I keep opening my eyes and he's just sitting there. And you guys, he's wearing the same thing. So my brother like always wore boxers to bed. He never wore shirts or pajamas or anything. He always wore boxers to bed. And he had these WWE boxers on because he was like obsessed with wrestling growing up. So this figure is sitting there with his WWE boxers on, bitch. And so that's how I knew. Like, it wasn't just like a person that came into the room. Nobody broke into the hotel. It was literally my brother. And I'm trying to think in my mind, how can my brother be there next to me at the same time? And at this point, I didn't know that your spirit sometimes at night can like astral project and like roam around the house. And I wasn't made aware of that because obviously at my young age, my mom was not going to sit down and talk to me about ghosts. So I hadn't had that conversation yet and I didn't know. So I am like literally scared shitless. I am terrified. My whole entire body is just clammed up. I feel like I'm in sleep. I'm not in sleep paralysis, but I feel like I am because I just feel like I know I can move and like I even was moving, but like I was afraid to just get up and go into my mom's room and tell her what was going on. I didn't know what to do. So maybe like 5 minutes rolls by and I'm trying to just like, I feel like if I go like this and I keep squinting that the figure is gonna go away, but it's just not. And I'm sitting there and I'm literally just like so freaked out, so fucking paranoid and so upset. I don't know what to do. So my first instinct is to try to wake my brother up, right? So I'm hitting him and I'm like, Dylan, I'm like, you're sitting on the glass table. Dylan, wake up, wake up, wake up. And so obviously he's in like a half awake, half asleep state of mind. So he hears me saying, Dylan, you're sitting on the glass table, wake up. So in his mind, he's like, this bitch, I know that she is not waking me up out of my slumber to tell me some bullshit. So he's like, go to sleep, Dakota, leave me alone. Like, I don't care. Like, he literally could not. I literally could have had a full axe murderer running at me and this man would have not given a shit. He would have just pushed me forward and been like, take her, leave her as a sacrifice, let me go back to bed. So I'm like punching him, like, Dylan, wake up, wake up.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this!
There is a ghost in here, like, I am scared, like, please wake up. And he literally, like, I know he heard me and I know he was awake, but he just didn't want to deal with me, right? So the next thing in my mind, I don't know what told me to do this, I don't know why my mind went straight to this, but something in my mind goes, touch it. Touch it and see if it's real, because at this point I didn't know if it was a ghost or not. I just said ghost, but I didn't actually know. So I was like, touch it. So I remember, like I said, you guys, I have my dad's picture on the nightstand, okay? On the nightstand. And so it's sitting right there. I remember I put it there in case I missed him and wanted to see him, whatever. So I go to touch it. I'm like going like this, and while I'm touching it, the thing is just staring at me, smiling. It's like, da-da. Da, 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 da. And so I go to touch it, my hand goes through it, and I hear the picture go, fall the fuck over. I lost my shit. I said, Mom! Nana! Like, I literally screamed at the top of my lungs. And you guys, I'm not even joking. I don't think it took my mom more than 4 seconds to run into the room and flip the lights on. The minute that she flipped the lights on, she's like, what is wrong? What is going on? What happened? My brother's still sleeping, by the way. He's still asleep. And I'm like, Dylan, he's sleeping right here, but he's also right here. And I go to point to where my brother was sitting, or the ghost, whatever it was sitting on the nightstand, and it's not there. It's gone. And so then I have, my grandma's up, right? My grandma's like 60 something at this point. So she's up, you know, bonnet is all over the place. She's staring at me like I'm crazy. My cousin Tiffany is coming out, rubbing her eyes. I was standing there and she's like, Dakota, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, Mom, I'm telling you, he was on this nightstand. Like, he's sleeping right here, but his body was right here. I told her everything. I was like, he was sitting on the nightstand. He has the same boxers on that Dylan has on right now. It was fucking staring at me. Its head was turning, and I went to go touch it, and the picture fell over. My hand went right through it. So that means that it was a ghost. And my mom literally wanted to kill me because she's like, Dakota, you were dreaming. It was a dream. It's not real. Go back to bed. And I'm like, no, because this is the thing. My whole life, everyone tried to, until maybe like 5 years ago, everybody tried to convince me that I was sleeping and that it was a dream. And people don't know this about me, but I lucid dream. I've been lucid dreaming since I was a kid. And what that means is, like, you're asleep, but you're awake at the same time. And you're having a dream, but you fully know what is going on. And I knew the difference between when I was lucid dreaming or when I was 100% asleep, because I know what it's like to be in a half awake, half asleep state of mind. I'm fully aware of what's going on at the time. So that means that if I am up, I know I'm not fucking dreaming. And also, it took me, like I said, literally an hour to 2 hours from a kid till this day, to be able to go to sleep. And I was only laying in that bed for maybe 10 minutes before this happened. And that's how I knew that it was not just a freaking dream. The TV was not on, there was no lights on. That's the thing too, is there was no lights on, but I was still able to fully see this figure fucking sitting in front of me, hovering over me, smiling, okay? So I'm like arguing with my mom, because one thing that I hate more than bucket hats is when somebody tries to convince me that what I'm saying is not true. But he believed my brother when he finally fucking woke up from his slumber, was like, you were sleeping, what is wrong with you? There's nothing in here. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So like literally nobody believed me, and I was so upset. So my mom basically was like, you know what, I'll sleep in here with your brother, and you go back in the room and you go sleep with your grandma, because I was scared shitless, you guys, and I was not sleeping by myself. I was terrified. So I go and I sleep with my grandma, and I eventually end up, you know, falling asleep. But the whole entire time I'm laying there, I'm fucking scared shitless. I'm like clenching onto her. I'm so upset. And the next day comes and nobody talks about it. We just get up, we pack our stuff, and we head on our flight home. And when I get home, I tell my dad about it, and my dad is the biggest skeptic ever out there. He doesn't believe in ghosts, he doesn't believe in spirit, he don't believe in nothing, okay, nothing. So he is the biggest skeptic out there. So he thought I was insane. Everybody thought I was crazy. My mom, for years, like, I would tell that story and she'd be like, Dakota, you were sleeping. I'm like, Mom, I wasn't sleeping. So one day me and my grandma were talking about it, and it was a day where I was at my grandma's house. She was watching me, and she told me that she actually believed. So she's like, I do believe you, and I'm gonna tell you why that happened, but you can't tell anybody that we had this discussion. And I was like, what? And she's like, because my grandma like believed in all of that stuff. She actually, my grandma is the one who is like the spiritual, well, was a spiritual one of like our family. So growing up, my grandma definitely knew about like the other side. She knew about spirit, she knew about ghosts, she knew about everything, right? And my grandma had a lot of gifts, but unfortunately, you know, she was born into a time where those gifts were not accepted, you know? Like this was during like the time where it's like spirituality wasn't a thing, you know? There was no like stage, there was no Palo Santo, there was no crystals, there was none of that, literally, right? But as my grandma got older and then she gave birth to my mom started inheriting those gifts, but they scared my mom. So my mom shut them off completely. My mom grew up like actually seeing things, hearing things. My mom is clairvoyant. So what my grandma basically essentially told me was that she 100% believed me, but that she didn't want to like say that she believed me because she didn't want me to be scared. She ended up telling me that sometimes when you are sleeping at night that your body astro projects and you don't really know it, you're not really aware of it. And obviously my brother, like we were kids at the time, so obviously he wasn't meaning to like astro project out of his freaking body. It just so happened to be that way. He ended up astro projecting and I just ended up being the one to see it. Now she also told me that because I was able to see it means that I was probably inheriting some of like our family's gifts, because like I was saying before my camera died, my mom is clairvoyant, but at a young age she got very scared of it. And so my grandma taught her how to like completely turn it off. But growing up, we would always go to these like metaphysical shops all the time. Had like fairy dust for the kids. They had tarot card readers there. They had, you know, like palm readers, like things like that. This was back when metaphysical shops weren't as like widely accepted as they are now. Now it's like a trend to be spiritual. But we went there, and when we would go there, this lady saw us one day, and she came up to my grandma and my mom and me, and my grandma was like holding me. I was like 2, and she came up to us and she said that I was a psychic. She's like, that baby has so many gifts, like she's gonna help so many people, like she's a psychic, she's a healer, etc. And this one lady there would read like your career, like what you were gonna be when you grew up, and she said that my brother was gonna be in the army, which he was and still is, and she said for me like healer. And so we always thought growing up that that meant like, oh, I'm gonna be a nurse, or oh, I'm gonna be a doctor, or oh, I'm gonna be this or that, right? But what we didn't realize is that she literally meant I was going to like heal people, because healing isn't always like physical. Sometimes healing is me coming on here and sharing a transparent story, and then in turn you guys get some healing from that, because you can either resonate from it, or you can know that you're just not alone, or you can learn something, right? So I just thought that that was pretty cool how she said I was gonna be a healer, and then here I am like years later like healing so many people with my story. It's crazy, right? So she basically told me that the reason for it was that your body like astro projects at night sometimes, and so that must have been what was happening with my brother. But for years everybody allowed me to like think that I was just dreaming and that it wasn't real, and it turns out the only reason why they did that was to get me to calm down and like not be so scared. So after that happened, I didn't really have too many paranormal experiences until I moved into this apartment. So if you're new here, you don't know this, this is not my actual house. This is my mom's apartment, but this was my apartment before my mother moved into it. And at one point I was in this apartment and I was very depressed. I was going through a bad breakup. I was just all over the place. And when you are depressed, or you have any type of like mental thing going on, you are very vulnerable for something not so positive to try to get your attention or try to take a hold of you. You know, you're very vulnerable for like spiritual warfare and things like that. And so I was in this apartment, and I remember I would wake up sometimes and I would hear people in that closet right there talking. And then when I would wake up, they would just like stop. Or there'd be days where I'd wake up and like I would put something like right here on this dresser, and then I would go like into the kitchen and I'd come back and it would not be here, and I would look high and low for it, and then I'd come home later that day from work and it would fucking literally be right here. So there was a lot of like shit going on. I remember I went and I bought sage. I came to this apartment and I saged the whole entire thing. I did a prayer of protection. God is with me, nobody can be against me. You know, made it very intentional. This is my space, you know, do not come into it, etc. Things like that. And after that, it seemed to have stopped until I moved to the place that I live in now, and there was some stuff going on the opposite side of my room. And basically the house that I live in, I'll put the story up here. It's called My Haunted Apartment, or like I'm Being Haunted or something like that. Basically the prior owner to my house showed up at my doorstep one day and basically was talking to me. He like wanted to see what the house looked like. He was just curious, and he ended up revealing to me that somebody in that house had actually committed suicide in my daughter's room. And for the longest time, nothing was going on in my daughter's room, but my room is directly above hers, and my room is basically like a finished attic. So there's like a room on this side and a room on that side, and the room on that side is like my office that I don't really fucking use. When I would go to sleep at night, I would hear things over there. I'd hear things knock over. I would hear people talking. I'd wake up and I'd see things. Like, it was really scary. I would even have people sleep over my house and be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with your room? Because I woke up and I heard people talking in the middle of the goddamn night. And like stuff around my house was being misplaced. I'd put my laptop charger somewhere. I'd wake up and I'd go to use it for work or for like anything, like therapy, like whatever, and it would not be there. I would search high and low, couldn't find it all day, wouldn't be able to find it. And then one day or like the next day, I'd go like into my drawer where it was in the first place, and it would just be there. Like my debit cards would go missing, and then they would appear again after I ordered a new one. Like, it was literally crazy. And then I had to do the same thing again. Had to take my sage, had to go clear out the room, pray to God, and then it went away. But yeah, I definitely have had my fair share of some paranormal experiences. So those two happen to be one of the most like craziest ones. But my mom has actually experienced a lot of paranormal things. So if you guys would be interested in me sitting down with her and doing a story time about her paranormal experiences, just let me know. I think she would absolutely love that. Like I said, my mom is like very much so like clairvoyant. She's not really tuned into her gifts. She kind of shut them out a while ago, but she definitely did see some crazy shit growing up. So if you guys want that video, just let me know. But that is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and listening to my paranormal story time. If you did like this video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel, and do not forget, you guys, to turn on my post notifications so you're aware of every single time I post here on YouTube. Follow my personal development podcast called Sis Let's Heal, available on all streaming platforms. Link is always in my bio. Don't forget to let me know down below what videos you guys want to see for the rest of October. My next video is going to be a story time, but I'm also going to be trying all of like my favorite fall drinks and giving you guys all of my recipes for that. We have some vlogs coming up as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder. Baby, I wonder